Thursday Night Football, the Minnesota Vikings are on the road to take on the Los Angeles Rams. In this video, I have two props I love. I have, I think, wins and covers in this game, and then we'll end the video with a parlay that I like. If you are new, my name's Austin from Call on Our Shot. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. As always, we start the video talking about how we did the previous day, or in this case, the previous week. Wasn't our best week. I won't sugarcoat it for you. I'm always pretty transparent. Hey, wasn't a great week for us. We lost 2.22 units. Didn't have a great Sunday or Monday. It is what it is. We're going to have some losing weeks. Hopefully we can bounce back up about 9 units on the season. Not great, not terrible. We'll take obviously the positives, but let's have a monster week 8, and that starts in this game. Now, if you're curious about my thoughts on every single Sunday game, I've already posted those picks. We talk about every spread, money line, or total that we like. I encourage you to go check that out. It's already live. I'll put the link at the top of the description in the pinned comment. I've had a pretty good record on just betting every single game. I think I'm 58-42 or something like that. So pretty good. Go check out my thoughts on every single game in those videos. A little bit longer, but they're all time-stamped. Before we dive into things, I do want to note, Underdog Fantasy has a free square for Matthew Stafford to get 1 yard. It's a free square. I talk about Underdog all the time, especially on these primetime videos. I'll have a couple other props I really like in an Underdog entry at the end of this video, trying to turn 25 bucks and I think 150. So stay tuned for that. A reminder, to get that free square, you got to use code COS. And if when you use that code, you'll get that free square plus a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. Hey, pretty cool offer. Take advantage of that. I'll obviously talk about Underdog later on in this video. Code COS or the link in the description. First play of the day. Aaron Jones over 96.5 rushing plus receiving yards, minus 114 on FanDuel. Fanatics, I believe, had this line at 95.5. I'll take the 96.5 and track it towards that, a FanDuel line that a lot of you guys have available for you guys. I like Aaron Jones up to about 98, maybe 99.5. Once you get over that century mark, I mean, obviously, I still think he gets there. I don't think he ends on 97, 98, or 99, but it is that's probably not where I would take it. Now, if you are like Austin, I don't have rushing plus receiving yards. I only have one line. I lean his rushing yards line, and my second pick in this video has a little bit more on that. But I do think that there's obviously some opportunity here in the receiving game. So I'm willing to put those receiving yards in there. Also, if the Vikings happen to be trailing in this game and they have to throw it, you aren't going to be getting those rushing yards there. We actually have a chance to cash kind of irrelevant or independent of the game script, which I do like. Well, Aaron Jones so far this season, I'll put his game log. W1 stands for week 1. He had 94 rush yards and 15 receiving, catching this over with 109. Then he had 68 the next week, 149, 139, 53, and then 116. If you look at one of these games, week 3, only 53 is the worst game of the season. He got injured in that one. So I think he played 16 snaps. I think he got injured in the first quarter against the Jets. Then the other bye week, he returned last week, pretty heavily involved. And I expect this once again to be another heavy dosage of Aaron Jones, especially when you think about the guys behind him. Ty Chandler. That man is averaging, he's running for less than 2.1 yards per carry his last 4 games. So he's been pretty bad. They brought in Cam Akers, who maybe have a revenge game here, but Cam Akers really hasn't looked great, and I doubt he gets a lot of work. So I expect Aaron Jones to get the bulk of the workload here. His rush attempts line is 15.5, something he has gone under in 2 straight games. I think this is a spot where maybe they lean on him a little bit more on a short week. And we've seen running backs have success against the Rams. When we talk about this defense, they've been pretty bad this season. The Rams, 5th most rush yards, 3rd most rush attempts allowed per game. They're also allowing 4.5 yards per carry. So given a team seeing a ton of volume, they're still giving up a lot of yards per carry on the ground. In terms of the receiving game, they're about middle of the pack. So they're not the best in the receiving game. Heck, they don't really see a lot of pass attempts, but I think this is a spot that we see the Minnesota Vikings lean on a guy like Aaron Jones even more. And it could be some receiving work going for him. He's normally involved heavily there, but he's also just a really good running back, and he's shown that across the years, especially in Green Bay, and really to start this season. 6 running backs this season have 12 or more rushing attempts versus the Rams. RAs stands for rush attempts. Here's how those guys finished rushing and receiving yards combined. David Montgomery, 93. James Conner, 124. Mason, 88. DeAndre Swift, 165, Josh Jacobs, 94, and Alexander Madison, 123. Now, obviously, if you're like, Austin, our line's 96.5, a lot of those guys just went under that line. Yeah, I agree with you. But also, a lot of those guys aren't used in the receiving game like Aaron Jones is. I mean, this is a guy that gets 2-3 receptions a game. Think about David Montgomery. He doesn't get involved too heavily. Jahmyr Gibbs in his same game had 44 receiving yards. James Conner, he'll get his receptions here and there, but not necessarily a guy going out for a ton of passes. Jordan Mason, not involved like Christian McCaffrey would be. Josh Jacobs, same thing. And Alexander Madison, not really involved a ton in the receiving game. He still had 31 yards. The only guy that really is on that list that is involved in the receiving game is DeAndre Swift. and he had 72 rushing or receiving yards. So I like the spot here for Aaron Jones. 72% of the snaps last week. I expect him to continue to see a lot of the workload here. If the Vikings get up, they'll lean on him a little bit more in the end game. But if they get down, he'll be the guy running those 2-minute drill type, quick drives, trying to get down the field and score, get yourself back in the game. He's in there. And if that's the case, I would imagine the Rams are probably playing pretty deep to try to take away the long ball from Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. We could see Aaron Jones start piling up some receptions. So again, my first pick for 1 unit is Aaron Jones over 96.5 rushing plus receiving yards. My second pick is going to just be a half unit play. It's a little bit of an interesting one, and I'll hopefully make the graphic as easy to read as possible because it's a weird one. Here's why. It's Aaron Jones and Kyren Williams to each have 25 rushing yards in each half. Currently plus 390 on FanDuel. Before I even offer some pivots for my FanDuel people, I'm talking to you. If you're like, I've never bet this market before. Here's how you find it. You go to the rushing props tab under this game. You'll go all the way down to the bottom. There will be a game specials dash rushing type option. And you'll see this one at plus 390. I don't know if the odds change. Maybe you better, maybe you get worse odds. It'll be in there for each of them to rush for 25. You'll see there's markets for each to get 25. That's about minus 115 for, I want to say, Kyren Williams and plus 105 for Aaron Jones. I'm going to put them together. I think this is a tight game. I'll talk about what I think wins and covers in this game in a second, but I think this is a tight game. I've already talked about Aaron Jones. I think he has success on the ground, but I also think Kyren Williams can have some success too. If this is a tight game where it's not like one team gets up to a 14-0 lead, we should see each team stick to their normal game plan, running the football. And that's kind of the premise of both these two offenses. They want to run. And on the season, the Vikings, I think, can get run on. If you look at on the season, though, you'd be like, awesome, the Vikings are one of the worst rush or hardest teams to run on this season. I don't know about that. The Vikings have allowed the 5th fewest rush yards and 2nd fewest rush attempts to running backs. So obviously, statistically, you're like, dang, awesome. Bad match for Kyren Williams. But additionally, you have to look at how their games have played out. They blew out the Giants in week 1. They blew out the Texans in week 3. They blew out the Packers in week 4 and the Jets in week 5. We're talking about a team that's played 6 games. 4 of them are blowouts of themselves doing the blowing out. I mean, sure, you could look at, hey, the Packers made it a 2-point game or the Jets only lost by 6. Yeah, but at one point in those games, the Packers were down 28-0 and the Jets were down 17-0. In both those two instances, are you running the football as an offense? No, not really. You're just throwing it a ton, which is why the Vikings haven't seen a lot of rush attempts. In fact, only 2 running backs have seen more than 10 rushing attempts versus the Giants. So we're talking 11 or more. That was Jordan Mason. He had 20 carries for 100 yards. And Jahmyr Gibbs last week, 15 for 116. So when teams are committed to running the football against the Vikings, they tend to have success. Obviously, they can't be committed to it if they're down 14, 8, 17, 21-0 early in this game. But based on the spread in this one, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think this is a tight game. I think these guys get the rush attempts. So do I think, Kyren Williams has a massive, massive day, gets over 100 rush yards? Maybe not. But in this case, he could just squeak over with 28 in the first half. And then we just needed, him to get up to 53 in the second half. Also, if we could survive this first half, you have the chance to hedge potentially on game script. And so I like this odds at just a half unit plus 390. Whatever half unit will win almost 2 units if it does cash. I'm willing to take a shot there. I like, obviously, Aaron Jones. I think Kyren Williams has a decent game, too, on the ground. I think these two offenses want to run the football. They don't want to be sitting back there, especially Matthew Stafford, and letting the Brian Flores blitz them left and right. I think you want to establish the run, make them commit to that, and then you can set up the play-action pass where you have Cooper Kupp returning from injury. I don't think Puka Nacua plays, but if he does, cool. If not, whatever. So I like this one. It's just a weird market. I didn't even mention some pivots. If you don't have a FanDuel account, my favorite pivot would probably be just taking both of them for 60 rush yards. Obviously 60, a little different from here, but you'd imagine if each gets 25 in each half, that's 50. Imagine they're not getting right over that line. So you'd probably get 60. I think you can get probably plus 150 on that. So only a half unit play, but I do like both those two guys. Finally, let's talk who I think wins and covers in this game. This is a tough game to predict. Teams that have faced the Lions and then faced another team the next week have been getting smoked. I don't think the Rams are good. I'm going to be honest with you, but I do lean the Rams plus 3. That's also what Logan leans. If you don't know who Logan is, he's in our NBA videos now daily with some spread picks. He's also in our week 8 best bets videos where we talk through every single game, kind of a podcast type video, if you will. We both like the Rams. Not my favorite spread pick of the weekend. I wish you could get plus 3.5, but I wouldn't lay minus 140 on that. I think the Rams could win this game. I don't know if I'll personally bet it. This is just, I feel like this game's priced correctly. This could be a field goal game. I don't know. It's weird. The Vikings, coming off 5-1, coming off a loss against the Rams team that's 2-4. Those look like they could be trading some guys if they lose here. A weird game. So again, I don't have a great lean on this one. If I had to bet it, I'd bet the Rams. Not my favorite lean by any stretch of the imagination. If you want all my strongest leans, I encourage you to go watch that video that I said we linked down below in the pinned comment. And finally, we wrap up the video with our underdog fantasy entry. In this parlay, I'll throw it up on the screen. These are all other props that I did consider, or props that we're already on. Again, you could sign up for Underdog using code COS. You get a Matthew Stafford free square, which you could throw in here if you want to. And you also get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000. So it's free money. Don't leave it on the table. We love Underdog. We do multiple slips every single week. Last week on Monday Night Football, we lost by 1 yard. K-Dot and 1 yard in the first half. Painful as he soared over in the second half. It is what it is. Sam Darnold, lower than 31.5 pass attempts. I forgot to put my note in here. I don't think he's crossed 31.5 all season long. Maybe that's a little bit suspect, but the Rams have been a team that have not allowed a lot of pass attempts this season. Obviously, last week they gave up a bunch, but that's the Raiders. They don't really want to throw it a ton if they don't have to. Obviously, the bottom leg is Aaron Jones, receiving. And the middle two, Kyron getting the end zone. That's hitting every single game this season. And then Jordan Addison, a guy I like. I like his matchup. I think he gets you 30 receiving yards. He's been pretty consistent. A play I did look at was Jordan Addison under in receptions, but over in like 25 yards. That's like plus 230 on FanDuel. That would get you like, he's hit that in every single game. I don't know how he does it, where he goes under receptions, over in yards some weeks, but hey, he's a big play guy. That's what happens. So again, that's $25 on that to win $150 almost. So I like your chances there. But those are my favorite picks of the video of this game. We'll have obviously more picks for Sunday's NFL slate. If you want to check out my thoughts on every single game on Sunday and Monday Night Football, I'll link that video here. Obviously, I have some separate videos for some of those games, and we'll have a bunch of props available on Saturday. As always, we send them early to our Dub Club, typically on Friday. So if you want to sign up for that, there's details down below. Have a great day. Good luck on all your picks. If you're a Vikings fan, go Vikings. If you're a Rams fan, go Rams. If you're betting on these games, hopefully it's a close and tight one and we can cash both of our wagers here. Again, go check out that video. See you guys in the next one. Peace.